Earthquakes in Pakistan and the radioactive leak are two major issues which are arousing curiosity as well as suspicions of public. As a geologist, way back in 98, when Pakistan did its nuclear implosions on the Quetta border, Quetta was well known to my family because my mother's Mausi and her entire family had perished in the famous Quetta quake. And as a geologist, I was aware that Quetta is a dangerous fault zone. Then I raised the issue whether the nuclear implosions of Pakistan had triggered the massive quake in Afghanistan, which had killed about 5,500 people. Many geologists, they mocked at me and they called my conjecture foolish, saying that the energy in a quake is much, much bigger than a mere nuclear implosion. There was an environment meet in which I had given that abstract on the seismic implications of Pakistani nuclear implosions on the border. I had to be very, very defensive in my presentation. I just asked them one question, that if you are given a choice to make a nuclear implosion in a stable area or an unstable area, which area you would prefer? Are there any international ethics regarding nuclear implosions? If these are going to destabilize your own terrain or the terrain of the neighbor, is there anything to constrain you? Is there anything to compel you to be kind to them and to be humane? They said, yeah, we agree. I said, then now may I ask a question? A normal implosion may not trigger a quake. But if there is a fault which is already active, already susceptible to creating massive quakes, even a small bit of instigation, human instigation, geological instigation, can't it trigger a quake? Yeah. They said, you may be right. I said, that's all. My idea was, one thing, nuclear implosions, all nuclear weapons, they are the most stupid thing we have invented. And we all think that we will make no mistakes, there will be no accidents, there will be no natural disasters. As geologists, we know when we do the disaster management that anything can go wrong will go wrong. Anything which can go wrong will go wrong. And our massive approach should be to preempt it from going wrong and do everything in our might to not let it go wrong. I'm sure the Pakistanis must have done what they could. And we also had, in the Asian tsunami, our nuclear reactor in the southern coast, Kalpakkam or what, I'm not very sure about the name, had the tsunami come a little high, we would have faced in 2004 what the Japanese faced in 2011 or 12. The massive radiation leak from the Fukushima reactor. So celebrating our hits is good, but celebrating a nuclear leakage is neither gentlemanly nor ethical for any country, be it India, be it Pakistan, be it China. I'm sure the Pakistanis have tons of blame to take for it. They cannot blame India when they were sending their Ghazni or whatnot, all the missiles, on a country which had suffered terrorism, which had only tried to kill some terrorists who were killing hundreds of our people making our life miserable. After that, they should have said, fine, you've done it, now let it be over. If they could come 2 days or 3 days later begging for a ceasefire, after this massive hit, those guys should have been wise enough to come then only that, sorry, we shouldn't have sponsored the terrorism, we shouldn't have killed the tourists, we shouldn't have done all that we did in India over the last 25 years. We have learned our lessons. You have taught us the lessons. In humility, they should accept it. Now Trump is saying loudly every now and then that he has averted a nuclear disaster. Indian national egos and the diplomatic egos are getting hurt that how come he dictates to us? How come he announced on our part? I say yes, he's a nobody to announce it on our part. We had to do it mutually and announce it mutually. But if your neighborhood catches fire, do you seek the permission to call a fire brigade? I'm sure the American government and lots of other governments across the world who care for averting a nuclear disaster must have pooled in their minds and must have prayed for it. Be it as it may, ceasefire couldn't have come without our saying yes. We were really generous and gracious enough to say yes to a ceasefire when we could have as well done a little more and finished the story forever. But the story of a war never, ever finishes. We did what a mature nation should do, and we should have no regrets for that ceasefire. We hope the Pakistanis will not repeat the blunder they did. But we also pray, we must all pray that the radiation leakage doesn't worsen. We hope the news of radiation leakage is false, but I'm afraid it is correct. All the circumstantial evidences, all the news which is trickling in, makes me believe that radiation leakage has happened. It's time for the global powers and the UN to think about the ethics of nuclear energy generation, of the ethics of having those nuclear weapons, about the ethics of having nuclear powered nations indulging in petty terrorism on a peaceful neighbor. I hope everybody, especially Pakistan, has learned its lessons. But India is the country of Gautam Buddha, Ashoka the Great, Mahatma Gandhi. We surely would not have ever imagined that any nuclear leakage would happen, any damage to the nuclear properties would happen. It would have happened, the blame lies on the general, what is his name, I'm forgetting, that fool must congratulate himself in the mess he has landed his great country, a lovely country, our lovely neighbor, which was a part of us. Let's hope. But the humbug about the earthquakes being triggered by the nuclear implosions or by any blasts in the bunkers which were banged by our missile is humbug. A massive earthquake of 4.6 or 5 Richter scale is no joke. It doesn't happen. I don't think it has any connection. But what I said then in 98 about seismic implications of nuclear implosions holds true. Erring on the side of caution, we should not. We should refrain from any nuclear implosions in unstable areas or young mountains which are active. The Himalayan mountains are active. We India did it in Pokhran, which is stable. In 74 we did it there, and 98 also we did it there. Pakistan could have stored their nuclear weapons in better places, not so prominent places, and wherever they stored, they should have behaved. They should not have, हिंदी में कहते हैं, जो शीशे के घरों में रहते हैं वो पत्थर नहीं मारते दूसरों पे. Pakistan should have known that their own weapons, which were threatening to throw on us, may have got punctured, and the leakage, I hope it's controlled. It can go out of hand. I'm worried because Rawalpindi is not very far from Amritsar. From Pakistan border, the leakage, if it has happened, it's not far. India would never ever create a nuclear leakage which may actually affect us too. So to conclude, good luck, Pakistan. God bless you. I hope you're able to manage the mess. I hope you learned your lessons. And you can be sure India will show you large heart. If need be, we will even help you controlling the nuclear leakage if it has happened. God bless. God bless India. God bless Pakistan. God bless our planet Earth.